Hello students, so welcome to Science Work by Poonam Singh, and this video will be released on patreon.com Science to Live, as you all know. In the previous lesson we had studied about the life processes. What do you mean by life processes, why they are necessary and all that. Let us just recapitulate certain things which we did last time. Children, do you remember that the organs are made up of tissues, and tissues are made up of cells, and cells are made up of many molecules. So I had told you that these molecules show movement. Now just tell me whether these molecular movements are visible to our naked eye. No, the answer is no. They're not visible. The molecular movements are not visible to the naked eye. The molecular movements which are taking place in the cells are not visible to the naked eye because the molecules are so small. So that movement is taking place in a very small scale. As you can see, my hand waving, all this is movement. It is on a large scale. It's a big thing. It's a big structure. So you can see it moving. But the molecules are very small. As you know, the cell as such is very small, and the molecules are inside the cell. They're very small, very, very small. So you cannot see the molecular movements. But they are there. The molecules move. And that is the basis of life. That molecular movement is the basis of life. We are alive, animals are alive, plants are alive because their cells show molecular movement. And why these molecular movements important? These molecular movements are important because it is because of these molecular movements that the things are transported. Things like the food, carbon dioxide, oxygen, and the waste materials like urea, ammonia, uric acid, all over the body from head to toe. So I hope it's clear that the molecular movements which are invisible to our naked eye, but they can be seen under a very, very high power microscope. So those molecular movements are very important. So if I ask you, how will you say that an animal is alive? How will you prove, or how will you say that something is a living or something is non-living? You can only say that if certain thing in its cell is showing molecular movement, it is alive. And if it is not showing molecular movement, if its cells are not showing molecular movement, it's dead, it's non-living. So molecular movement is the basis of life. So I hope it's clear, and it's very important also. So children, now can you define what life processes are? The definition is also very important. Let me tell you. The life processes are those processes which are going on inside your body all the time, which allow your systems, your working inside, your functioning inside your body possible. Like there are various functions going on inside your body, like digestion or respiration or transportation. So many functions are going on. You breathe, you move, you talk, you write, you walk, you sleep, and you study something, or you play. Whatever you do, all these things are possible because of the various life processes which go on inside your body all the time, day and night, even when you are sleeping. Even when you are sleeping, you might say that life processes need not work then. No, they have to work because you need to breathe in and breathe out at the time when you are sleeping. Then only you can remain alive. And at the time of sleeping, your heart should work. That working of the heart is possible because of the life process, that is the transport system, the circulatory system that makes the heart pump even while you are sleeping. So you remain alive even while you are sleeping. So life processes are those vital functions which are necessary for the maintenance, for the repair and maintenance of your body structures. Like body structures means the various structures which you can see outside and the various structures which you cannot see, which are inside your body. Let me again repeat the definition of life process. The life processes are those processes which help you to sustain your life. This is in short. Life processes are those vital processes which go on inside your body and which help you to remain alive, which sustain your life. So children, let's start with the definitions. Life processes. Life processes, these are the vital activities which go inside our body which help in the growth and maintenance of various structures in our body. Various structures in our body. So life processes, these are the vital activities which go inside our body, which help in the growth and maintenance of various structures in our body. These are essential to sustain our life. These are essential to sustain our life. Okay. Now the next definition. What is nutrition? This is the first life process, as you all know. So what is nutrition? Nutrition, it is the intake of food. It is the intake of food and conversion or utilization of food into nutrients, into you will say into special substances called nutrients, which are broken down into smaller molecules to be absorbed by the body. Okay, so what is nutrition? It is the intake of food and conversion or utilization of food into special substances called nutrients, which are broken down into smaller molecules to be absorbed by the body. That is nutrition. Now and there are 5 types of nutrients. I need not tell you, these you have learnt in your lower classes. These 5 types of nutrients are carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins and minerals, and of which the main energy sources are the carbohydrates and fats. Most of the energy we get from the breakdown of carbohydrates and fats. Now the definition of, so children, I was telling you the definition of enzymes. Before that, let me tell you that I was continuously saying that the food is broken down and converted into simpler molecules. So what does it mean? Food is broken down. Children, you know that food is composed of nutrients. Food is made up of different nutrients, the 5 nutrients which I've told you. So these nutrients are nothing but biochemical compounds. So these biochemical compounds have a chemical structure, and this chemical structure consists of certain chemical bonds. You know that every molecule, it's a food molecule, right? Any nutrient you take, carbohydrate or protein or fat or whatever, it's a biochemical compound. So this compound will be composed of, it will have a structure, a chemical structure. In that structure there will be bonds, there will be chemical bonds. So these bonds have to be broken down to convert these complex compounds into simpler substances or molecules which can be absorbed by the body. So for breaking these chemical, when these chemical bonds are broken, we say that the food is broken down. And children, these bonds are broken down with the help of certain molecules, biological molecules known as enzymes. So enzymes are biological molecules which help in the breaking of the chemical bonds of the nutrients or food, whatever you want to say. They help in the breakage of those chemical bonds. So the enzymes, they help in the breakage of the chemical bonds, and so in a way they speed up the biochemical reactions. So I will just write down the definition of the enzymes. Enzymes, these are molecules, biological molecules. These are biological molecules and these biological molecules are mostly protein molecules. Okay, these are mostly protein in nature. These are mostly protein molecules. Just by the way, I am telling you this. It's not given in the book. So these are biological molecules which speed up, or you can say which speed up or catalyzes. Catalyzes means speeding up. Catalyzes the biochemical reactions taking place in a cell. Biochemical reactions taking place in a cell. So these enzymes, what do they do? The enzymes break, or you can say help. Enzymes help in breaking the chemical bonds of the compounds, various compounds like carbohydrates, whatever of the, or there are many different compounds, several compounds all of which you will learn in your higher classes. So children, we were doing nutrition. Now children, nutrition is the method or the way by which an organism obtains its food. So an organism can obtain its food by eating the plants directly, or it can kill other animals and eat those animals, or it can eat both plants as well as flesh or animals, like the man does. Man eats both plants and animals. So depending on that, the organisms which eat only plants are known as herbivores. The organisms which eat only flesh, they are known as carnivores, and the ones which eat both plants and animals are known as omnivores. For example, man is an omnivore. This you have learned in your lower classes. So children, and there are certain organisms which prepare their own food inside their own body, and such organisms are known as plants. The plants prepare their own food inside their own body. So children, depending on how an organism obtains its food, the nutrition can have various methods. So they are known as modes of nutrition. Modes or methods of nutrition. Modes or methods of nutrition. The modes of nutrition can be two types, broadly speaking. They can be two types: autotrophic and heterotrophic. Children, first let's see the autotrophic nutrition. Auto means self. Auto means self. And trophy means nutrition. Trophy means nutrition. So this means self-nutrition. So self-nutrition is done by which organism? It's done by plants. You know that plants prepare their own food inside their own body. The animals don't do that. They don't prepare their food inside their own body. They take the food from outside. Either they are eating plants, which they take from outside, or they're eating flesh, which they take from outside, or they eat both plants and animals. But they cannot prepare food on their own inside their body. It is only the plants, the example is only the plants can prepare their own food inside their own bodies. So, what is autotrophic nutrition? Autotrophic nutrition is the one where the organism prepares its own food inside its own bodies using the substances which are present in the environment. So, example is all the plants. So, this is about autotrophic. Now, let's go to heterotrophic. Hetero means, children, others. Hetero means others, and trophy, as you know, means nutrition. Trophy means nutrition. So, children, it means the nutrition obtained from others. So, heterotrophic nutrition is the nutrition which is obtained from other animals, that is by eating other things, either it is eating plants or eating animals or both. So the nutrition which is obtained from other organisms is known as heterotrophic nutrition. Now children, in this heterotrophic nutrition, I would like to tell you that first in autotrophic nutrition, the food that is prepared by the plants is the glucose. The food that is prepared by the plants is glucose, and it is organic in nature. That is, it is a carbon compound. And how it makes this glucose? Using the inorganic materials, carbon dioxide and water, in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight, that you will learn later on, but it prepares its food from inorganic substances. From inorganic substances, it prepares organic food, which is the glucose. And the food which is not utilized, which is not converted into energy. You know what is energy? When the food is broken down, then the food is broken down into simpler molecules, and some energy is released. Some energy is released when the food is broken down. This energy is in the form of ATP molecules. ATP molecules. Adenosine. ATP means, full form is adenosine triphosphate. So whether it's plants or whether it's animals, the energy is released in the form of ATP molecules. So children, this ATP molecule is the energy molecule, and this energy is utilized to do the various activities in the body. For example, when the ATP molecule is released in the case of plants, that ATP molecule is used to carry out various activities in the plant, like carrying of transportation, of food and water from one place to another, and taking of water by the roots from the ground. And there's so many functions which are going on. Respiration is going on there, and all these things are going on. Reproduction is there. So many activities go on inside the plants also. So for all that, the ATP energy is required. We require energy to do some work, you know that. So, and food is the one which provides the energy. In the case of plants, glucose is the food that is prepared by the leaves, by the green leaves, by the process called as photosynthesis. And when this food is broken down, energy is released to do the various activities. And children, some amount of energy is not utilized. At a particular moment, a plant will require a certain amount of energy. But if it has prepared more energy than required, then extra energy or that unutilized energy will be stored. And it is stored in the form of starch in the case of plants. The unutilized energy or the unutilized food, you can say, is stored in the form of starch in the plants, and it is stored in the leaves. The starch is stored in the leaves in the case of plants. Right? There is another term, carbohydrates. Please be very clear about these terms. Carbohydrates, this glucose and starch together, we call them carbohydrates. And how about the heterotrophic nutrition? Children, in the heterotrophic nutrition, the food is prepared, right? And energy is released in the same way in the form of ATP molecules. And here, the extra food or the unutilized food or the unutilized energy is stored in muscles and liver. Stored in the muscles and liver. When the food is broken down in heterotrophic, the same way, when the food is broken down, the ATP molecules are released. This is energy molecules. These are energy molecules which are required for doing the various activities. In this case, you have learnt about life processes. So ATP and energy molecules are required to do all the life processes like respiration, then nutrition. So, but some amount of energy or some amount of food is unutilized. So that unutilized food or unutilized energy is stored in muscles and liver in the form of glycogen, in the form of a compound known as glycogen. And in the case of plants, the unutilized food or the unutilized energy is stored in leaves in the form of starch. So I hope this is clear to you. Next, we will do heterotrophic nutrition in detail, and then we will come to autotrophic again. Now children, let's do the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, the organisms can break down the food outside their body and then they can absorb it, right? So the animals or the organisms which do this type of nutrition, that is, they break down the food outside their body and then they absorb it inside the body. Such type of nutrition is known as saprotrophic nutrition or saprophytic nutrition, and such animals are called saprophytes. So the first type of nutrition is known as saprophytic nutrition. Saprophytic nutrition, and the organisms which come under this are known as saprophytes. Saprophytes are the organisms which come under this category. And so who are these saprophytes? These saprophytes include fungi, which can be bread mold or yeast or mushroom, or this includes the fungi and some bacteria. Children, let me tell you that fungi and bacteria come under the category of plants. And so these fungi and bacteria, these saprophytes, they feed on dead decaying organic matter. They feed on dead decaying organic matter. Children, you know, all the dead matter, whether it is plant or animal, it's organic. So they feed on those dead decaying organic matter. They break down they act on those dead decaying organic matter, and they break it down outside only, outside their own body. And then they absorb, the fungi and bacteria then absorb that small particles that they have broken down. So this type of nutrition is known as saprophytic nutrition. Now children, the second method can be that organism taking the whole food inside and absorb it inside only, or break it down inside only and absorb it inside. Okay, the second mode of nutrition can be that the organism taking the whole food inside and break it down inside only in their body. So such type of nutrition is known as holozoic nutrition. This holozoic nutrition is shown by humans and all the animals. Okay, humans and all the animals. So what do they feed on? You already know that some plants feed on plants which are called herbivores, and some animals feed on only flesh, which are carnivores, and some feed on both plants and animals which are called omnivores. So they feed on this plants and flesh, that is other animals. So then children, we come to the third option. What can be the third mode of nutrition? The first was that the food was broken down outside the body and then it was taken inside, absorbed inside their own body. And then the second method was the food was taken in, the whole food was taken inside and broken down inside only. So the third option can be that the animal is living inside in some other's body and deriving food from that body. So such organisms or such mode of nutrition is known as parasitic mode of nutrition. Such mode of nutrition is known as parasitic mode of nutrition, and the organisms which follow this mode of nutrition are known as parasites. They are known as parasites. So here the parasitic mode of nutrition is the nutrition where the organism live in others' body and derive food from the body in which they live. They can live inside that other body or they can live outside of the other body. So the body in which they live is known as host. Whether they are living inside the host or outside the host, both things are possible. And these parasites can be plants. Even the plants are parasites. Some plants and animals, I think you are well aware of. There are animal parasites. First, let us take up examples of animal parasites. Like you have heard of malarial parasite, which causes malaria. Malarial parasite, that is, its biological name is Plasmodium. It feeds on human blood. Then there are examples of, so these are animals I'm talking about. Then there are worms which live inside your gut, like the and derive food from our gut. Examples are roundworms, tapeworms, and there are leeches. They live, roundworms and tapeworms live inside the gut, and these leeches and ticks and lice, they live on the body. Leeches, ticks and lice, they live on the human body or animal body and suck blood from there. So these are the parasites which are animal parasites. These themselves are animals, and they live on inside or outside of the animals. Now, the name of a plant which is a parasite, the example is cuscuta. The example is cuscuta, which is called Amar Bale in Hindi. So cuscuta is a plant which lives on another plant. Actually, it sort of entangles around another plant and derives its food from that plant, gets all its nutrients from the host plant. It actually climbs on that, or it adheres to that host plant and derives all its nutrition from that host plant. So this was all about the heterotrophic nutrition. Children, now I'll tell you about something about the autotrophic nutrition. Children, I told you that in autotrophic nutrition, that is performed by plants, and in the autotrophic nutrition, that is the food is synthesized by the plants themselves in their own body. And I also told you how it is synthesized. It is synthesized by the inorganic raw materials like carbon dioxide and sunlight energy in the presence of chlorophyll. This is a new term. The green, I told you that the green leaves make this food. So in the green leaves, what is there that helps in making this food? In the green leaves, there is a green pigment called chlorophyll. What is the function? They absorb the sunlight energy. They absorb the sunlight energy and help in the process of making food, that is the photosynthesis. That's all for today. Children, please, this video will be uploaded on patreon.com. So please do watch. Please become the patrons, and if you want the prices to be lower, you can make a custom pledge, and which will always be accepted. So please do become patrons of patreon.com. Thank you so much.